The pain of betrayal. Take a deep breath with me and let it go. Let's begin this journey by acknowledging something many of us have felt but few truly talk about: betrayal. It's one of the deepest wounds a human heart can carry. Whether it comes from a partner who strays, a friend who turns their back, or even a family member who breaks your trust, betrayal cuts deep. It doesn't just hurt because someone wronged us. It hurts because it shakes the very ground we stood on. We begin to question not just them, but ourselves. Why did they do this? Was I not enough? Could I have prevented it? These questions echo in our minds like whispers in an empty room. And sometimes the pain doesn't fade with time, it lingers. Not like a storm that passes, but like a fog that never quite lifts. You see, the true pain of betrayal isn't just about the act, it's about the illusion that crumbles. The illusion that someone loved us the way we believed, that loyalty meant something, that trust was real. When that illusion falls apart, it doesn't just change how we see others, it changes how we see ourselves. But here's where Buddhist wisdom offers us a powerful shift in perspective. The suffering we feel isn't caused by the betrayal itself. It's caused by our resistance to what happened, by our attachment to how we wish it had been. Let that sink in. It's not the act of betrayal that binds us in pain. It's the story we keep telling ourselves about it. The need to rewrite the past, to fix what's broken, to make it make sense. But life, as we know, doesn't always give us those answers. The Buddha once taught, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. What he meant is this: when we cling to expectations, when we demand fairness from a world that doesn't always offer it, we suffer. We want things to be different. We want people to be different. And the more we resist what is, the deeper our pain becomes. So what can we do when betrayal knocks the wind out of us? The answer isn't to harden ourselves, to become cynical, or to close our hearts forever. And it's also not to seek revenge or carry bitterness like a shield. The real answer, the liberating one, is this: let go of what you expected, accept what is, and begin again from there. Now, that may sound passive, but it's the exact opposite. Acceptance is an act of incredible courage. It means facing reality without denial. It means feeling the sting of betrayal and still choosing to stand tall, not because you weren't hurt, but because you refuse to let that hurt define you. In this moment, I want to ask you something, not to answer out loud, but to reflect quietly. What pain are you still holding on to? What illusion, what expectation, what story have you replayed 1,000 times in your mind, hoping that somehow it will change? The first step to healing is not to fix the person who hurt you. It's not to get closure or an apology. The first step is to stop resisting the truth. Yes, it happened. Yes, it was painful. But now you have a choice. Carry the weight or begin to lay it down. As we continue this journey together, we'll explore not only how to process betrayal, but how to transcend it, to rise above the hurt, and to rediscover the inner peace that no one, not even those who broke your trust, can ever take away from you. Because while betrayal may shake your world, it doesn't have to shatter your spirit. Take another breath with me, and let's keep going. Part 1. The Zen Story. The Power of Silence. Take a breath. Slow, steady. Let it anchor you in this present moment. I want to share with you a story. A quiet story, but one that carries a thunderous truth. It's a Zen teaching passed down for generations, and though simple, it holds the kind of wisdom that can shift the way we respond to betrayal, pain, and injustice. There was once a young monk who lived in a remote monastery deep in the mountains. He was known among the other monks for his gentle heart, his discipline, and his quiet kindness. He kept to himself, spoke with honesty, and walked the path of wisdom with humble dedication. But, as it often happens in life, not everyone admired him. One day, a fellow student, driven by jealousy and pride, began to spread lies about him. Whispers spread through the halls, accusations that he had stolen from the monastery's treasury, that behind his calm demeanor was a dishonest, deceitful man. These rumors traveled quickly. In spaces where there had once been smiles and nods of respect, the young monk now faced silence, suspicion, and turned backs. And he was devastated. He had done nothing wrong. His heart ached not only for the injustice, but for the betrayal from someone he had trusted as a brother. His first instinct, like any of us, was to defend himself, to stand before the others and proclaim his innocence, to prove that he wasn't the liar they believed he was. So he went to his teacher, the old master who had watched over the monastery for decades, and with fire in his voice he said, "Master, they've wronged me. They've stained my name. What should I do?" The master looked at him calmly, gently, and said, "Do nothing." The student blinked. "But master, if I stay silent, they'll believe the lies. My name will be ruined forever." The master smiled and asked, "Tell me, if the wind lifts the dust into the air, do you chase after the dust to bring it down, or do you simply wait for it to settle?" The student was silent. The master continued, "If you chase the dust, you stir it up even more. But if you wait, the truth will settle gently on its own. The truth does not need your defense. It only needs your patience." Let's pause there for a moment. How often have we found ourselves in this very position, desperate to prove our innocence, to explain, to correct the lies others have told about us? The mind screams for justice. The ego burns for revenge. We feel that if we don't speak, the lie becomes truth. But here's what this story teaches us. Truth is not fragile. It doesn't shatter when someone attacks it. It only becomes obscured, briefly, like the sun hidden behind a passing cloud. That night, the young monk returned to his meditation, but his heart was still heavy. How could he just sit in silence while injustice reigned? And then something unexpected happened. Under the moonlight, the very student who had slandered him approached, his face pale, his voice trembling. "I don't know why I did it," he said, "but I feel ashamed. You didn't retaliate, you didn't fight back, and now I see what I've done. I have dishonored myself." The next morning, in front of the entire monastery, he confessed his lies. The truth came to light without a word of defense from the one who was wronged. And the young monk, his name was restored. But more than that, his spirit was untouched. He had risen above the noise, above the drama, above the pull to react. He later returned to the master and said with a bow, "You were right. The dust settled on its own." And the master replied, "It always does." So, what is the lesson for us? When someone betrays you, lies about you, or turns others against you, the urge to defend yourself will be strong. You'll feel the pull to argue, to explain, to set the record straight. But sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. That doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting injustice thrive. It means stepping out of the storm rather than getting swept up in it. It means trusting that the truth will rise, because it always does. It means letting your peace speak louder than your words. There is an ancient Buddhist saying, "Do not chase after the wind. Do not seek the truth. Simply cease to cherish opinions." When we drop the need to control what others think of us, we reclaim our freedom. So I'll ask you now, what dust are you still chasing? What lies, what judgments, what opinions of others are keeping your spirit tangled? If you can learn to wait, to be still, to breathe through the discomfort instead of reacting, you might just find that peace doesn't come from proving the truth. It comes from living it. And when the dust finally settles, as it always does, you'll still be here, quiet, strong, untouched. Let's keep walking this path together. Part 2. Why doing nothing is the ultimate strength. Let's begin with a gentle breath. Inhale and let it go. Sometimes when life shakes us, when we're wronged, attacked, or betrayed, our first instinct is to react, to defend, to explain, to push back. It feels natural, almost necessary. After all, silence can feel like surrender, like weakness. But what if I told you that not reacting, that doing nothing, can actually be one of the most powerful responses you can offer? In this part of our journey together, I want to invite you into a perspective that may seem radical, but is rooted in deep spiritual wisdom. That in the face of harm, injustice, or lies, stillness is strength. Let's explore why. 1. It breaks the chain of suffering. When someone hurts us, there's a powerful pull to hurt them back. Maybe not physically, but with words, with silence, with coldness, with bitterness. We want to balance the scales. It's human. But the truth is, this only deepens the pain. Retaliation keeps us locked in a loop, a never-ending cycle of reactivity. You hurt me, I hurt you. You defend yourself, I defend myself louder. And round we go. Buddhism teaches that this is dukkha, the cycle of suffering. And the only way to break free is to stop spinning. When you choose not to retaliate, when you choose not to engage, you step out of the storm. You cut the thread of suffering that's trying to wrap around you. And that, my friend, is liberation. 2. It protects your inner peace. Anger feels powerful in the moment. It makes your chest rise, your voice sharpen, your blood boil. But here's the thing. It's a fire you hold in your own hand. It doesn't hurt the other person as much as it scorches you. There's a quote often attributed to the Buddha. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So many of us carry resentment like a shield, thinking it protects us. But really, it only weighs us down. Heavy, exhausting, quietly corrosive. When you choose to let go, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace, you begin to free yourself. It's not surrender, it's self-preservation. It's not passive, it's empowering. 3. It forces the other person to face themselves. Here's something rarely talked about. When you react with anger, you give the person who hurt you an excuse. They can say, "See, that's why I did it," or "You're just as toxic." They shift the attention off their actions and onto yours. But when you don't react, when you respond with silence, with stillness, it leaves them alone with their own conscience. There's no distraction, no justification, just their actions and the quiet weight of it. In many cases, it's this very silence that becomes the mirror they can't look away from. Your restraint becomes their reflection. 4. It allows natural justice to unfold. Have you ever noticed how lies seem loud at first? They spread quickly, stir up chaos, and sometimes even gain momentum. But with time, they fall apart. They collapse under their own weight. Truth, on the other hand, is like the sun. Even when it's hidden behind clouds, you know it's still there. It doesn't need to shout. It simply waits, and then it shines. When you trust the unfolding of things, when you stop chasing justice and start trusting the rhythm of life, you realize that the universe has its own way of restoring balance. Call it karma, call it consequence, call it natural law. What matters is this: you don't have to carry the burden of making things right, because often justice is already in motion, even if you can't see it yet. 5. It elevates you spiritually. There's a different kind of strength the world rarely talks about. Not the strength of force,
not the strength of dominance, but the strength of mastery over the self. When you no longer feel the need to control how others see you, when you no longer react to every insult or injustice, when your peace cannot be stolen by someone else's chaos, you become free. And in that freedom, you grow. You rise above the drama. You move beyond the ego. You stop playing the same game, and instead, you become the observer, the calm one, the one who chooses clarity over confusion. This is spiritual elevation, not because you're better than others, but because you've chosen not to be dragged down by them. Let me ask you this. What situation in your life right now is pulling at your peace? Where are you tempted to react, to fight, to correct, to prove? And what would happen if you did nothing? Not out of fear, not out of giving up, but from a place of quiet power, of knowing that the truth needs no defense, that the light doesn't argue with the dark, it just shines. Imagine how much lighter your life would feel if you no longer had to chase closure, if you no longer needed everyone to understand you, if you simply trusted that what's meant to be seen will be seen. That's the gift of doing nothing. It's not about ignoring pain, it's about not feeding it. It's not about being silent, it's about choosing your silence wisely. It's not about being indifferent, it's about being deeply centered. So the next time life tests your peace, take a breath, step back, and ask yourself, is my reaction worth my peace? Most of the time, you'll find that it's not. And when you discover that, you've already won.
Part 3. Buddhist Wisdom on Betrayal. Understanding to be free from hurt. Let's begin this moment with a breath. Inhale deeply and let go. We've all felt the sting of betrayal, whether from someone we trusted, someone we loved, or someone we never expected. It cuts deep. But what if I told you that the path to healing doesn't begin by changing the other person, but by changing how we see? This part of our journey invites you into a deeper understanding, not just of betrayal, but of the nature of people, of suffering, and ultimately, of freedom. Let's walk this path gently. 1. Letting go is not weakness, it's strength. When someone hurts us, it's easy to believe that if we don't fight back, we're being weak, that staying calm is the same as surrender. But that's a misunderstanding of real strength. Because reactivity isn't power, it's pain on display. Think about it. When you explode, when you lash out, what are you really showing? That you're wounded, that the person got to you, that their actions now control your emotions. But when you remain grounded, when you choose silence over screaming, reflection over retaliation, something remarkable happens. You become unshakable. In Buddhist wisdom, this is true mastery. Victory over others is small. Victory over the self, that's everything. A mind that doesn't flinch in the face of betrayal is a mind that has already won. 2. Understanding human nature sets you free. Here's a simple truth that many of us struggle with. People act not according to our values, but according to their own nature. Let's say you're honest, loyal, kind. You assume others will be the same. So when someone lies to you, cheats you, betrays you, it feels shocking, personal. But here's the shift. What if it had nothing to do with you? Imagine a scorpion stinging you. It doesn't do it because it hates you. It does it because it's in its nature to sting. A fire burns not out of malice, but because that's what fire does. When someone deceives you or turns against you, it's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their wounds, their conditioning, their nature. Once you understand this, betrayal stops feeling personal. It becomes less of a wound and more of a window into who they are, not who you are. And that is freedom. 3. The illusion of control. One of the greatest sources of suffering is this illusion we carry, that we can change people. We think, if I just explain it well enough, they'll understand. If I confront them, they'll feel remorse. If I do everything right, they'll treat me better. But people don't change because we want them to. They change when they choose to. No amount of anger, logic, or love can force someone to become someone they're not ready to be. So what happens when we finally accept this truth? We stop wasting energy trying to reshape others, and we start pouring that energy back into ourselves, into our growth, our healing, our peace. Buddhism teaches, do not chase the river. Let it flow where it flows. Instead, learn to float. Let go of the idea that it's your job to fix someone's character. It's not. Your only task is to walk your own path with awareness and compassion.
4. The power of silence. In a noisy world, silence is sacred. When we're wronged, there's often pressure to speak up, to shout our truth, to prove we're right. But here's the question: is being right more important or being free? Sometimes silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's the highest form of trust. Because silence creates space. Space for truth to reveal itself. Space for emotion to settle. Space for karma to unfold. It's not about silencing your truth. It's about knowing that truth doesn't always need a microphone. Sometimes it just needs stillness. Ask yourself, will reacting bring peace, or will it tie you further into suffering? When you choose silence, not from fear, but from clarity, you walk away not as the victim, but as the victor. 5. Trusting karma, the law of cause and effect. One of the most reassuring teachings in Buddhism is this: every action has a consequence. You don't need to get even. You don't need to make sure justice is served, because the universe is already at work. If someone spreads harm, that harm will echo back to them, not through your hands, but through the natural rhythm of life. Like an echo, every action returns. Like a shadow, it never leaves. Now, this isn't about hoping others suffer. That's not peace. That's attachment. It's about trust. Trust that what's done in darkness will come to light. Trust that every betrayal, every deception, every wound inflicted will meet its own reflection in time. When you stop trying to force justice and instead align with truth, life begins to flow again. You're no longer the judge, the executioner, the enforcer. You're simply a soul walking free. Let me pause here and ask you, who are you still trying to change? What pain are you still holding as proof that you were right? What noise are you still trying to shout over? Maybe today you don't need to fight anymore. Maybe today you can choose to be still. Because stillness is not the absence of strength, it's the presence of it. And when you understand people's nature, when you let go of needing to be in control, when you embrace silence and trust karma, you stop reacting and you start rising. And in that rise, no betrayal can hold you down. No lie can define you. No one, not even those who hurt you, can take away the peace you choose to carry within. Let's keep walking this path together, quietly, courageously, with eyes open and hearts free.
Part 4. Forgiveness, the doorway to inner freedom. Take a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe in slowly. And exhale gently. Now ask yourself, quietly and honestly, who are you still holding in your heart with clenched fists? Who still lives in the corners of your mind, not as a memory, but as a weight? We often talk about forgiveness as if it's a favor we offer someone else. But in truth, forgiveness is never really about them. It's about you. Forgiveness is not agreement or amnesia. Let's get something clear right away. Forgiving someone doesn't mean what they did was okay. It doesn't mean you forget. It doesn't mean you welcome them back into your life or trust them again. And it definitely doesn't mean you pretend the pain wasn't real. Forgiveness simply means you're done carrying the fire of that pain. It means you choose your peace over your anger. You choose your healing over your history. Because here's the quiet truth. The person who betrayed you may have already moved on. They may sleep peacefully at night. They may not think of you at all. But you carry them with you through your thoughts, your emotions, your triggers. You give them space in your heart every time the memory resurfaces. You let them live rent-free in your nervous system. And the cost? Your energy, your joy, your freedom. Forgiveness is for you, not for them. You don't forgive because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve to be free. Free from replaying the same conversation in your mind. Free from the anger that simmers just beneath your smile. Free from the exhaustion of being hurt over and over again by the same moment, the same person, the same story. Buddhist philosophy teaches that resentment is like holding a burning coal in your hand, waiting for the right moment to throw it. But the only one who's being burned is you. So ask yourself, are you willing to let go of that coal? Not for them, for you. Forgiveness doesn't require reconnection. Let's make peace with another truth. You can forgive someone and still walk away. You can forgive and never speak again. You can forgive and still set boundaries that protect your well-being. Forgiveness isn't about reconciliation. It's about liberation. Think of it like this. Forgiveness is closing the chapter, not reopening the book. It's putting down the emotional baggage, not pretending the trip didn't happen. You're not saying, "I trust you again." You're saying, "I choose not to carry this anymore." The path to forgiveness starts with letting go of control. Often, we think we can't forgive until the other person apologizes, or until they understand what they did. But here's the truth. You may never get that apology. They may never understand. They may never feel guilty. They may never change. And if your peace depends on their growth, you've given them control over your heart. Forgiveness is about taking that power back. It's choosing to live from a place of inner strength rather than emotional dependency. Because what matters isn't whether they regret it. What matters is whether you're ready to stop suffering.
How do you forgive? You don't have to figure it all out at once. Start by acknowledging your pain. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Give it space, not to fester, but to soften. Then gently remind yourself, this moment is done. It cannot be changed, but I can change how I carry it. If the wound is fresh, forgiveness may feel impossible. That's okay. But the goal isn't to rush. The goal is to plant a seed that says, one day I will no longer let this pain control my joy. And with time, with stillness, with compassion, that seed begins to grow. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. So, let me ask you now, what would your life feel like if you were no longer bound to that pain? What if the betrayal no longer dictated your mood, your thoughts, your energy? Forgiveness is how we reclaim our lives from those who never deserved that much power over us in the first place. It's how we rise, unburdened, clear-hearted, and free. So today, even if just a little, choose to loosen your grip. Choose to soften the story. Choose to begin the quiet work of letting go. Because beyond forgiveness, there is space. There is stillness. There is peace. And that peace is your birthright. Take another deep breath with me. Inhale. And as you exhale, imagine a small part of that heaviness leaving you. You're not forgetting. You're not excusing. You're simply releasing. Let's keep walking this path, one breath, one choice, one quiet act of courage at a time. And remember, you are allowed to be free. The truth will reveal itself, and you will remain whole. Take a soft breath in with me, and let it all go. We've walked a quiet journey together through betrayal, pain, silence, and the possibility of forgiveness. And now we arrive at the stillness on the other side. So let me leave you with this truth. Your power does not come from revenge. It does not come from proving your worth to those who couldn't see it. It does not come from holding on tightly to pain, hoping that one day someone else will feel it too. No, your true power is in your freedom. Freedom from needing to be understood by everyone. Freedom from the heaviness of anger, the noise of conflict, the ache of needing to explain. You are not here to live tangled in what others did to you. You are here to be light, to be whole, to be at peace with yourself. Choose peace over conflict. The world will always invite you into drama. Someone will always have an opinion. There will always be a moment where your pride is tested, where your ego wants to fight. But in that moment, pause and ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be free? Most of the time, freedom is the better choice. Choose silence over noise. There's a quiet strength in silence, not the silence of avoidance or fear, but the silence that says, I trust the truth to speak for me. When you no longer feel the need to defend your name in every room, when you no longer need to chase clarity from people who live in confusion, you discover something rare. The stillness within you is more powerful than any noise around you. Choose letting go over resentment. Letting go is not forgetting. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is choosing yourself over the pain. You don't have to keep drinking the bitterness just because someone else poured the cup. Release it. Not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be whole again. There's a beautiful Zen saying, when the dust settles, you will still be here, quiet, steady, untouched. Life will stir the dust. People will misunderstand you, judge you, even betray you. But none of that changes who you are. And the truth? The truth is like water. It always finds its way through. No matter how long it takes, the truth always reveals itself. So you don't have to chase it. You don't have to fight for it. You just have to live it. Be still. Be patient. Be grounded in who you are. Because when the chaos fades and the story quiets down, what remains is not what they said. It's you and your calm, your clarity, your peace. A gentle invitation. If something in today's reflection spoke to your heart, I invite you to carry it with you, not as an idea to think about, but as a practice to live. Practice silence. Practice detachment. Practice forgiveness, not because life is fair, but because you are free. And if you'd like to walk this path with me, this journey of mindful living, gentle strength, and quiet truth, I welcome you to stay. Just click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. There's more to come. More stories, more stillness, more reminders that you are not alone in your healing. And if you feel called to, leave a comment below. Tell me, what are you ready to let go of? What truth are you learning to trust? Until next time, may your heart stay light, may your mind stay steady, and may your peace remain untouched, no matter what dust the world may stir.